Maybe he's working, but he came back. It was in Chicago.
Okay, Rabbi Saim, the Flan Toida.
Okay,
Toida Magna Matzla.
what's he?
Page Tov Chavav.
Okay.
We learned this in the past. I think we should chaz it again and go through it quickly. Maybe we could, you know, after a few weeks, maybe we'll go back to other dinim.
Good.
Page Tov Chavav, which is Simin Tov Peitas. Say the Tfilas Lel Sheni Shal Pesach. Or Sfiras Omer. Oh boy, Lamed Sifim. You have a new mitzvah, Sfiras Omer. Mitzvah same in that Torah, Shisper Kolach Misol Shiva Shavuos Yamim. You should count 7 weeks, Miyoim Havas, coming from the day that the Korban Omer is brought, which is the second day of Pesach, 16th of this. Shenem Rosfart Havas Shabbos Yem Aviach Musem Atrufa, Shabbos Shabbos Tuminis Tiana. But Omer state Shiva Shavuos Tisperlach. V'darsha Chacham Tisperlach, Chacham or Doidish. Yachol Bezin, I would think that Bezin should count. Like Yovel should say Bezin Yovel. Bezin keeps a cheshbon which year is the Yovel year. Sheva Shabbos Hashanah Mekash Shnas Chamishim Yovel. Tamaloimer Sfartem Lochem Tisper Loch Loshin Yochid. Refer to the Bezdin. Sfartem Lochem Kidei L'Soifer L'Cholecha Be'echod. That every single person should count. You can't have the Sheikh Tzibur do it for everyone. Meaning when you're not in the room, you're not listening. Then okay, the Sheikh Tzibur will do it. It's not a Tzibur idea. Every Yachid. Okay? Even if someone said, here, please go and do the mitzvah for me. Right. Go to shul, wherever it is, go count Sefiras for me. It's not going to work. And yes, if you didn't hear the Sfira. Meaning the kids is a mitzvah shabbat gufay. That feeling you have to do it yourself. Exactly. Some mitzvahs you could say, you could put on mezuzah for me. You could give tzedakah for take truma for me
Not too
to take
many.
truma. Different mitzvahs that you don't have to yourself do. Other mitzvahs you have to do it yourself. You can't get away. You can't pay someone to say, "Hey, do it for me." He himself heard from his friend the Sfira. They both had in mind to be Yaitza. Yaitza. ויש חולקן על זה ואומרים שצריך להספיל הולך ואיך ממש שגולך יסבר בעצמו. Some say no. Even Shemea Ka'omer, Shemea Ka'in, it doesn't work over here. You have to physically say with your own lips. Sefiras Omer. ויש locho של דבריהם לכתחילה. שליסמך על שמירת הציבור מהשעת. We shouldn't rely. So that's why after the Shliach Tzibur says it, we all repeat. We don't just listen to the Shliach Tzibur. You say it ourselves to be choishish to the Shita. אבל הברכה יכול לשמוע מהשליח ציבור לכתחילה. אף יהודי לברך בעצמי. הסור שאויס מצווה בעס אחס יכול אחד מלברך בשביל כולם. ואחר שמע ברכה יסבר מיד. So the bracha you can hear from the Shliach Tzibur. The Sfira, you say it yourself. Just want to point out that usually,
it's very strange that somebody could make a bracha for you and you just come.
if you listen, yeah.
Like you wanna eat the apple, you tell the guy you make the bracha and I eat the apple.
So it doesn't always work.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't always work. So it works by mitzvahs.
Kiddush.
Mitzvahs, right? People listen to Kiddush. It works by mitzvahs. But we have an issue. But there's an issue over here. And remember, we spoke about this in the past. The way how you can do something for someone else is by method of arvus. Because what allows you to say a bracha for someone else? God over here, you're hearing from the Shliach Tzibur. So, but B'chlal, there's a concept of arvos that you have a certain chrayis for the other person. We accept it upon ourselves, the Torah, not only that we're going to keep the Torah, that we're going to make sure that we keep it as a collective whole. That's why b'chal have a chiyuv macha. We see someone's doing something incorrectly. We have a chiyuv to let them know, and in the proper way, make that they should do it properly. Why do we have to do chiyuv? I have to make sure I too keep my mitzvahs. I don't get punished. I get my reward. I do what I'm supposed to do. What someone else does, what does that have to do with me? Because we accept it upon ourselves in the midbar that we are also have an arvos. We guarantee each other as a whole. So we have to be a unit. We have to care for each other, and we have to make sure we. So we have an arvos that we can help someone in this. But the halacha is we're not supposed to rely on arvos l'chatchila. Why not? Because if someone's able to pay back a loan, for example, let's say someone takes a loan and he has an arav, a guarantor, all the gemachs you want to take, you have to have a guarantor. What's shat? You don't go to the guarantor and say pay up the loan. You first go to the loiva and you say pay up the loan. The loiva says, Amy, I don't have. The gemach or the person, the malva can go to the arav and say, you guarantee the loan, pay up. And now the arav will go and have to go schlep out
You
the
have to
money.
go deal with it.
He'll have to go get back his money from the lady. It wasn't free. He didn't do it free, but he's just going to help out. Now, problem of it. So now the din is, ain toivin is the arif tchila. You first teveh the loiva for the loan, not the arif. Unless it's an arif kablin, which is a different type of arif. But a regular type of arif, that's how it works. So the Zelbaz Achman he gave the arvis and halacha, the halachic arvis of kol yisrael even zelazeh. That first you teveh the yid himself. If you know how to do the bracha, you know how to do the mitzvah, do it yourself. Because you should pay your chayiv to the Eibush to yourself. Because you owe something to Eibush, pay up yourself. You can do it. Okay, you go to the Arev, to the another Yid, should do it for you. So the din is that l'chatchila, you should not be moitzi a baki. Someone knows, only a ene baki. Someone comes to your house, he's not so frum, he doesn't know how to say kiddush. So you make kiddush for him. Or someone else doesn't know a mitzvah, so you do it, you say it for him. He doesn't know how to say the bracha and tekiah shofar. So you help him say the bracha, or you help him say the bracha on tefillin, because he doesn't know how to say it. However, over here, it's only again if the person doesn't know how. But if it's someone that knows how, you shouldn't do it for him. However, this case, Alter Rebbe says you could do it l'chatchila even if you know how to make the bracha. You can listen from the shliach tzibur. Why? Shasara she'oisim mitzvah bas achas, the ending of Sif Aleph. When there are 10 people doing a mitzvah together, it's like B'rei V'Hamad Melech, you do it all in one shot. It doesn't matter whether you know or you don't know. When there's 10 people doing it together, one person can make a bracha for everyone, even for those who know.
Like tekiah shofar.
Right? Tekiah shofar, a good example. Very good example. Why shouldn't we all make the bracha ourselves? Yeah.
When I was a kid in Kfar Chabad, we want to show 5 people what Shabbos is about. So every Shabbos, different kibbutzim, kid will come, 10, 15, 20. So they come Friday night to shul, and then they separate. You go to this family, you go to this family, and there always is like a madrich, somebody in charge of them. So this madrich, divided everybody, and fine. 15 minutes later, after everybody went home to make Yiddish, this kid come to the house. He left the house that he was, and he came to his counselor, whatever. He said, Makara, why I send you? He said, I don't know. I came to the house. The table is nice. Everybody by the table. The guy picked up the cup, looked at me, and he said, אתה יוצא לבד או שאני מוציא אותך?
You know,
הלכתי,
I always tell Rabbi Hazan when he makes the kids, take me out. This is funny.
The
real story?
Yeah.
Wow. Funny story. Be careful what we say.
This is what we learn.
Oh, he forgot. He says, Kol mash yem elecha balabayis hasei. What's mitzay?
What's Friday night Kiddush? It never saw.
This person who was never religious doesn't know what Yosef means.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and you said me.
So Lamaisa, you're allowed to hear from the Shliach the bracha. The minig is the Olam says themselves the bracha, but you're allowed to hear from the Shliach. So it doesn't you don't have to. It's the base. Nashim avodim pturim mitzvah. Since according to the Rambam, and
Women should not conceal same.
they're potter.
They're allowed to.
Peishu, right. Peishu mixas seishas mangram. Over mixas medines, samo hanoshim mitzvah alehem choiva. They accepted upon themselves a choiva. This is from the Magen Avram. The ein chash isse b'meshehem evarchis aleha. Ashim towards man ayin simin zayin, which is hilchas tzitzis. Which we there is the first mitzvah seishas man grama in Shulchan Aruch. To bring up if a woman wanted the word tzitzis, is she allowed to or not? Say a brach on it. So we here's a machlekes rishonim about this. The Rambam says someone who's pater from mitzvah, let's say a woman or any other person who's pater in a certain situation in mitzvah, and he does the mitzvah. Maybe you're pater in a specific situation, and you say, "I want to do the mitzvah." Can you make a bracha or not? So the Rambam says you can't make a bracha. Bracha vatala. You're not chayiv. How can you say Hashek Shalom Tzvayis Tzivanu? Or Taisa says no. Taisa says you could make the bracha because Hashem commanded Klal Yisrael, us as a whole. I personally am not mechuyev in this mitzvah, but as a whole, Klal Yisrael is mechayev in mitzvahs. So therefore, it's machlekes Yishayim, machlekes Shulchan Aruch. The mechaber in Shulchan Aruch always paskins like in this case, like the Rambam. Happens to be a little bit of line, Svardi, Psak.
The poto.
Not only a potter, you're not allowed to make
they
a
can.
They could do the mitzvah.
Right, like Lulav and
You could do the mitzvah, but you can't make the bracha. The Ramah says, like Tosfos, like the Ashkenazi Rishonim.
Or Leshe Basukah, the first night they do it, but the rest of them they can't.
Right? So because they're potter, they're not allowed to make it. The mitzvah they could do. Tefillin, the mashal, they can't. They don't do tefillin because gufnaki, they're nidus and this, so it's not. It's a gufnaki. But and talis gadol they don't do because this is maybe because mechseki yuara like they're putting it. But be'etzim they can wear talis cotton and do a lot of other mitzvahs, but they're not chayiv to do it. The question is the bracha. That's the machlekes of the bracha. That's what you'll see. Sometimes with tzayim, sometimes you have with Sfardim, they say, "Oh, the ladies don't make a bracha. They don't want it." It's a this nekoda. Now, agav, Shaila over here, this Magen Avraham said that to Chayva, but it's Favos, the Minchas Chinuch, and others. They ask, how could they create a chiyuv? They're not chayav, the women. Now, Magen Avraham says, in mixes medinas, they took it upon themselves as a chiyuv. What does that mean? You want to do the mitzvah, they want to do the mitzvah, very nice, do the mitzvah, but how do they create it to be an obligation? How could the women create that it's an obligation?
It's almost that the women think about themselves.
Yeah, but they don't make a bracha or something like that. Here, they want to make a bracha, and you say because they took upon themselves, they create the situation that they now make a bracha.
Well, even if they were not chayiv, but even if they weren't chayiv, we hold the Maisa that inside the Ramah and the Alter Rebbe, everyone passed, all Ashkenazim passed in this way, that even if they're potter 100%, even a man in a situation is potter, but he wants to do the mitzvah, he's allowed to make a bracha.
I know, but women make a bracha.
I hear what you're saying, Menegay, this Nekoda, about Chayva. Look in each case for itself.
Right.
So some say it's like al neder. Just like women, they can neder that we're taking upon ourselves something. There's another pshat that someone to say that there is be'etzim a shita that says that Sefiras Haomer is not Mitzvah Seishas Mangram. The Ramban. The Ramban in Kiddushin, the Flamid over there, the Sugi in Gemara, discusses about all which mitzvahs are Mitzvah Seishas Mangram and not, the women are potter, the whole limud is there in the Gemara. So Ramban says that he counts in the mitzvahs that are mitzvahs say she'ein hazman grama, Sefiras Haomer. Big pella. It's like connected with time. It's all about time. So, Kapanim, before we discuss what shat in that Ramban, but someone tiny that the Magen Avram who says Sambo Haleim Choiva is when there is a certain shita that held that it's ein zman gram and they're takechai of women al pizah. Like that Ramban, it's a mitzvah she'ein zman gram, but women are chayiv in Sefiras Haomer. So that's why they're able to say, women can say that we take upon ourselves that shita. When there's no such a shita, they can't create a chiv, it's not existing. But if there's a shita that says that they are chayiv, women could say, we were makabel on ourselves, we're noyig like that shita that we are chayiv. Right. Say kimli like that shita. Because there is such a shita. But if there's no such a shita, women on their own can't create a chiv on themselves. If you want to do it, go do it. You can't make it an obligation now in this Medina. How does it become now chiv for all the women to do it? Because some women decided to do it. Says no, the women could create a chiyuv because there is such a shita taka holds their chayim. This man is a very, very big pella, and it really, you would want to say it's somehow some type of mistake in the, like a printing mistake or something, but until we have like clear proof of that, we can't just go and just say, oh, things that we don't like and not comfortable with. No. They are printing mistakes. So there is a certain way. There are different ways how to deal with the shaila, and I'm just going to recap. I think many, many years ago we discussed this in depth and a whole share just on this point itself. But one of the titles is that Eina Chanami Sefiras Haomer is itself. It has to do with time, but really it's not. It's dependent on the carbon Haomer. It's on the carbon. The carbon creates the chiyuv. Like we said, from the yom hakol, it's the carbon that makes the chiyuv.
Not the day.
Not the zay itself. The carbon. The carbon Haomer itself is totally in zman. True, but zman grama is when it itself is totally in zman. Really, this is not totally in the zman of tesvav tzazai nissen. It's totally when the day that the Haomer is brought. It's not the yom, it's the Haomer. When there's the Haomer, the day that you bring the Haomer, it's connected to a mice of a mitzvah of the Haomer. So that's one mahalich. There is another mahalich that more of a lamdish mahalich to say like this: when is something a zman grama? When I have the chayfetz a whole year, but the zman makes me chayiv. Let's say I can do eat matzah a whole year. Eat matzah. You have a matzah in the middle of Tishrei. Oh, matzah in Tishrei is not a mitzvah. The zman is goyim. Pesach is goyim. Tesvav Nissen is goyim. What happens? That's what it means zman grama. The zman is goyim. But what happens if I don't have the chayfetz of the mitzvah?
For example,
let's say I'll give an example from another. We all know that Kiddush Levana, we make Kiddush Levana. Women don't make Kiddush Levana. Why not? It's a mitzvah say she'ein zman grama. It's zman grama. They're not chayiv in it. Question is why women are not mahadar in it. Women are mahadar in a lot of mitzvahs they want to do.
Women do Kiddush Levana.
Right. So that it says in Svarim that because the whole miut halavana is connected to
the cycle of the women.
It's connected to the Eitz Das, Das. I mean, Pashas has to do with the jealousy of this, but it's the Shemesh and the Levana, Eishtei Malacha, but there's a connection between the miut halavana and the inyan of Chetz Das. So it's not an inyan of women to do this inyan. But it's mitzvah say she'ein zman gram, but they're not chayv. So there's a Chachma Shleima on Shulchan Aruch from Shleima Kluger and Hilchos by these halachas by Rish Chodesh and Kiddush Levana. So Shleima Kluger says like this. In the Domani, that's where this Chachma Shleima is. He says this. He explains that really Kiddush Levana is a mitzvah say she'ein has mangra. It's not connected. It's telling the moon. The Levana, the din is, what's Kiddush Levana? Raya Levana bechidusha. When we see that Levana is a schadish, a cycle, the monthly cycle is a schadish, we see the new Levana, we make a bracha. Says Hashem Kluger, a whole month, the reason why you don't make the bracha is not b'shat that there's a certain zman that's goyim. You don't have the Levana bechidusha. The Levana bechidusha is only the beginning of the month. Later on, after Tezvav, it's now not Mischadish anymore, it's going down. You don't have the chayfetz in the mitzvah to do it. It's not pshat that Tezayin and on, there's a psa iser that you can't make it a shavana. Sinishta the Levana bechidusha anymore. Sinishta. Kenech nishmach in the mitzvah. Whenever it's here, I do the mitzvah. When it's not available, kenech nishta the mitzvah.
Right.
So he says, it's not a that the Zman is going, it's days in the calendar. It's Shana that the Levana comes in and out, and the mitzvah is to do it b'chidusha.
It's not like the matzah, the tie
Yeah.
make you.
The matzah have the exact same matzah every day of the year. It's
Right,
here.
so-
It's right here on my table. All the mitzvahs are here. Ma'izagich, at night you can't do it. Shabbos you can't do it. Right?
Right.
So that means that the Zman affects the mitzvah. He said the Shlem very Geshmak that you don't have the Levana b'chidusha anymore.
It's like Rosh Hashanah, the Chalil b'Shabbos, you don't have a chiyuv to call the shofar, but
It's a very Geshmak Once you hear it, you're like, how can you think differently now?
Right.
But obviously most of the would call it a mitzvah Shazman Gram. But Api, this the Shlem Kluger, can verstehen maybe Sefiras Haomer. Why? If we learn that it's not just counting 49 days, it's counting these special 49, these 49 days that have to be counted don't exist the whole year. It's not pshat that I can just count 49 days in the middle of the winter. The count 49 days in the winter is meaningless. I have to count these days are special days. These days have something to them between Pesach and Shavuos. So it's like Aderech Harei Levana b'chidusha. I don't have these days a whole year to count. So my mitzvah svira is a mitzvah connected to these days. I don't have these days a whole year. It's not like I have the matzah a whole year. The matzah is there a whole year. I don't have these days. These days are different types of days. Ich hab nicht the tag, the chefs of the mitzvah is missing a whole year. That's why I don't do it a year. It's not really connected to Zman. These are all different biyunim to explain this Ramban and Kiddushin that's just Pshittis puts into a list of mitzvah seishen as man gram without explaining anything, puts in Sefiras Haomer. So I want to use that to say that explain the Magen Avraham mitzvah nashim some aleim mitzvah medina some nashim chayva this mitzvah because they say, oh, we're going like that and ban they have a sheet. Okay, let me get right.
If you're a Bavitcher, you have to count 49 days and there's nothing to do with the Zman. Maybe let's say if we agree to the Ramban. Because the Bavitchers don't go to Australia, they don't, they still count the same. So it's not the Zman that's varying, it's just Chavanayim.
Yeah. Now, mitzvah, the last line on the page, top it has. Neheges ba'aretz u'b'chutz la'aretz b'fnei habayis shlei b'fnei habayis. This is a lashon of the Rambam that this mitzvah is noyik in Eretz Yisrael u'chutz la'aretz where there is a Beis Hamikdash, but there's no Beis Hamikdash. We're not bringing the carbon Haomer anymore. It's the day that potentially you could bring it. This is the Rambam Shita. It's also the Raviyah, another one of the Rishonim of Elazar ben Yoel Halevi, also held this way, Raviyah. That's a mitzvah min HaTorah. However, Yeshayimrim, others saying these are the majority of the Rishonim. Taisus, the Rosh, the Ran, most Rishonim hold Shebizman Azeh She'ein Beis Hamikdash Kaim Ve'ein Makim V'Omer Ein Mitzvah Zu Nehegas Klal Midivrei Torah. Divrei Seifrim Shetiknu Zeichel HaMikdash. V'chein Iker. The halacha and Shulchan Aruch passing that the Iker halacha is like the Shitzas D'Rabbanan. Kol Makim, Kol Mash Tikkun Chacham and Tikkun Ein Shel Torah. So there's not much of a difference. We will explain a few differences, but not many differences that there are. The way we do the mitzvah is still going to be doing the mitzvah the same way, whether it's the Rabbanan Deraisa, because Kol Mash Tikkun Chacham Kein Shel Torah Tikkun. But we will see also come up a few times that the Alter Rebbe does point out that if it's easy and you're able to choishish to the shitas are shining. That's the raisa. It's easy to do it. Should do it, even though it's not the ikar shita. So we'll see when these things come up. We're not going to come up right now, but it will come up in certain cases. Siv Gimel. Zman hakavos Haomer b'tesva zayin b'nisin. That's when you bring the Haomer. Shenem b'achras haShabbos yimifenu, the day after Shabbos. See, the day after Shabbos means Sunday. V'kiblu chachamim. V'kiblu chachamim shezel mimachas yontu rishon shel pei. This Shabbos doesn't mean Shabbos from Shabbos Bereshis, from Bereshis the seventh day of from Bereshis. It means Shabbos means Yom Tov over here. Yoyim zeh atzmai, that was the machlekes of tzedukim. Yoyim zeh atzmai eschin lisper b'yemim shel acharav. From this very day itself, you start to count, not the day afterwards, not mi machas haShabbos, meaning the day after. Now that day itself, you start to count. Shemer halcho chemesh b'akamat al lisper l'madish v'zman esviv v'zman shreish zaksira. Ta'ayinu v'zman k'sizorim k'sosi k'en v'os v'le'achakach. Pasuk says, when the sickle hits the stalk, the kama, the wheat, the barley, starts to cut it, that's when you should count. So when do you cut the carbon Haomer? Before you bring it, you have to cut the barley to bring the carbon Haomer. You can't bring it without cutting it. So you got to cut it first. Seed is kaidam avasik. And it says that's when you do the Sefira. Tacholisper. The Sefira is by Zman Aksida. So obviously it must be on that day itself. It's all a raya that when we say Mimacharas doesn't mean that we start counting the day after and Yud Zayin Nisim. And the actual day of the carbon Haomer is when we start counting. Now, so why do I do it by night? Just do it by day. Shenemar to Mimistiyana. You have to have complete 49 days. Starting to count by day, not by night, in the first day, problematic. And interesting. Interesting over here.
Why can't they marry? Can't believe it.
What do you mean?
Because they're doing it after 6.
Now, based on the Svara, only the first night has to be, first day, you do it by the night time. And it's to be tmimus. So if you're missing the night, you're missing what of the night, you'll have a full 49 days. A day is Yom V'Layla. Start by night. The problem is, very good, the first day. Why do all the other nights fit the same and have to be by night? Once I have the beginning, the rest I could do by day. It's not going to be mechasam tfimis. Alter writes one line, and I see they don't even have any source to it, so it seems like this line comes from Alter Rebbe. Upon their opinion, they don't have any makar for this. The Alter Rebbe throws an explanation. I mean, everyone knows you do it by night, every night. The question is why. So he says, min hastam, the mitzvah didn't change. The tzur of the mitzvah doesn't change from the first night on. Whatever the tzur of the mitzvah was set up for the first night, that's the way the tzur of the mitzvah is going to be every night. That's what he says. Mustama, who adin sfidashayim shena balayla shemastam sfidas kol yom shem. Which probably the setup of the mitzvah is to be equal. Every night's the same. It'd be interesting to hear for some more discussion as to where the eye is for this. But this is what it comes out according to Alter Rebbe. This is the only place where we know it from. Otherwise, we don't have any real makar that every night should be by night. But that's what we all do. All of Klal Yisrael counts at night. Not just the first night, every night.
The people who daven Ma'ariv early, some in what they do when it comes to Osana?
You're going to see soon. It's a good question. L'maisa, what we do is, before we get to the halacha, if you count, if you're davening Ma'ariv bein hashmoshes,
Right.
after Shkia, they're mekel.
That you can make a boch and everything.
Yeah. But if it's before, from Plaga Mincha, it's really an early Ma'ariv, and it's not after Shkia.
Can't make a boch.
Yeah. It's not so. Yeah, if you did, it's already Shana Shaila. But if you already said Sfi and everything, but they don't, not really bracha, they don't count Sfi. They wait till the person gets on. But Chalal, it's not really Mukobal.
No.
The daven Ma'ariv so early.
Why?
Most places don't they daven after Shkia Ma'ariv? Usually.
Not Erev Shabbos.
Down here, they have making people.
Erev Shabbos is a lot of earning
At a
minyan.
Shabbos, you're right. Taka. At a Shabbos, people taka don't wait after
There's
Shkia.
a lot of
Yeah, he's
earning.
all over here.
Taka true.
5
So you can ask what they do, but according to Shulchan Aruch, they're not.
I think they announced that
Say Sfira later.
when you go home by Tzitz Kochavim, make it by yourself.
Okay.
Hey, Krishna. Let's see, Krishna.
Yeah. Yeah, usually during the week, during the week time, I find that they set it up. They set Mincha Meir back to back, Mincha before Shkia, Meir after Shkia. That's usually what they do, which is really based in the Mishabura. Mishabura explains that because there are shilas in this whole thing of davening, the problem over here is mainly that you're davening Mincha after Plag. Start to the Sasi, right? Because the question is, Yehuda holds that Plag and Mincha is the cutoff time for Mincha. You're not allowed to daven Mincha after Plag, and you're only allowed to daven Meir after Plag. Maybe Chacham say Mincha is a whole day, and nighttime it's Meir. So Lamai says people are want to daven Mincha after Plag because they're not gonna they're working, whatever it might be, whatever it is early. But they want to do Maitiv before nightfall. They don't want to wait for Maitiv for nightfall. They have a problem because it's called Tarti the Sasri. You're davening Mincha after Plag is like Chachamim. You're davening Maitiv before Shkia, before it says, which is only according to Yehuda. So you're following the Yehuda, you follow Chachamim, you're being Soisi, so it's called Tarti the Sasri. It's a steer. So what the Mishabura, so therefore, there is Taisus, the first Taisus and Brachas discusses this. He says in times of great need, like there is a makom to mekel. It's in the halacha, there is a makom to mekel, like let's say a minyan would be in this battle in a certain city if they didn't have a setup where meaning will matter a tarti the sasri. Because a person can tell you that when I daven mincha, I'm okay. I daven like a chamim. When I daven ma'idif, I'm also okay because I daven like Rabbi Yehuda. Each thing which I did, I have my shita. My shita lets me do what I'm doing. Tarti the sasri, we can, what does it say? You can wave it aside, the Tati the Sasri in times of need. The Shabura says what you should do is, in such cases, better to daven Ma'ariv after Shkia. This way, it's a suffix Laila. And according to Chachamim, it's okay. There's a svara that it's a sad that you're doing like a Chachamim.
Yeah.
You did right, like a Chachamim. You do it before, and you're tackling a full Tarti the Sasri. Now it's a suffix Tarti the Sasri. So that's why you see in a lot of the young Israels in different places is set up for those Ashkenazi shuls, the Yekish shul, the people that go in the Nisach Ashkenaz, when they want to daven like this, what they do usually during the week is they schedule mincha before and Ma'ariv right away after Shkia. They have sometimes the Rav will say like a short little vart, just to make sure it's after Shkia. That's that cheshbon. And B'chalal, even in this case, the cheshbon is that people might not come back. The cheshbon, why we're B'chal allowing it, it's not really, you're not lechatchila supposed to do it. Even in such cases. It's just because there's a worry in the community that people won't show up again back from Ma'ariv. Once they go home, they're not coming back. They're coming to shul for the evening, they have to do Mincha Ma'ariv together, package deal, and they go home. Otherwise, it's finished. So in those cases, best if you could do it after Shkia, the Ma'ariv. That's Kudas Hadvar. Okay. Getting back over here to our case, that was because you asked the Shaila. V'chol halayla or middle of gimel kasha l'sviras Haomer shemshach l'sabbat chilas halayla. If you forgot, you didn't count at the beginning of the night. V'niska koyin m'shala amud hashacher chayiv lisper. Avol chatchila mitzvah mufcha lisper chilas halayla miyad achetfil saibes. V'chatchila mitzad the mitzvah mufcha and count on the beginning of the night, right after Ma'ariv. If you forgot the whole entire night, you could do Sefira. The koyin she is for balayla tzal levarech kizeh shovarech ana kol mitzvah ben shel tayim and shel v'sayim whether the eyes of the Rabbani make a bracha. Avol shachal lisba b'yim. What if you forgot at night to make the bracha? The Laila, balayla to say Sefira. Then it's k'vayim. Remember by daytime. Yisva b'lei bracha. Count without a bracha. Why? Sheishaim lefishaim lei nixara imer balayla koitzes v'yim. The machloik is pasha tanoim. When you can't cut the omer, what happens if the night before, the night of Tes Zayin, Lel Tes Zayin, the second night of Pesach, forgot to cut the omer for the next day? It's carbon. It's at night. And you didn't cut the omer. Can you make up for it and cut it by day, or you lost it out? Can you cut it by day?
What's the Lashon bottle?
So it's machlekes pasha tanoim, shnat mishnayis, whether you could do this or not. Some tanoim hold you could, some hold you can't. So you can make up for it by day. So because of this machlekes, therefore lefichach im shachach ha'hizit aloi safer b'layla chayiv l'sbiyim l'varich. According to that mahalach, that Sefiras Haomer, if you didn't do it by night, you do it by day, you chayiv to do it by day and make a bracha. Yesh chalken the others are chaylik on this. And lefichach yisper b'loy bracha shav b'tzlahakol. Then when you count by day, Sefiras Haomer, some say you're doing good, correct, because b'diavad you can cut the Omer by day, and others say no, you lost out the mitzvah. You can't count.
What happened to women when she forgot that?
So therefore, by daytime you chayiv to count.
Count, but don't make a
Don't
bracha.
make a bracha.
And then next night you could make a bracha.
But that cheshbon we'll discuss much later on in the simon. Why the next night you could continue? So like a sveka, you could continue to the next night. But the day itself, you were chayiv to count without a bracha.
And the women, what happened? The same
Same
application.
Same.
If
No,
she-
chayiv,
if she
then a
forgot
chayiv.
to make a bracha at night and she counted, and then she continued next day
Yeah.
to make a bracha.
Yeah. If she wants to follow the rules of Sefiras Haomer, she wants to do the mitzvahs, it has all halachas. She's the
She
same
could.
like the men.
Uh-huh.
A lot of married like 18 years just counted on the often.
Yeah. Never missed it.
Even I missed.
The Nina had a wow, amazing. That she got from her mother.
No, it's her own.
It's her own thing. Mhm.
They used to count.
No,
They're always counting.
yeah,
No, I'm saying women always
Yeah,
counting.
always
Yeah, but I don't think most women don't follow through. The Mishabur actually says that there's a discussion, by the way, if women actually think he says that women shouldn't start counting if they know, like someone is prone that they don't end up finishing it. So who says you're allowed to start with a bracha? How can you start lechatchila the Sefiras Haomer if you know you're not going to finish the mitzvah? You know every year you're not going to finish it to the finish line. Who says lechatchila start with a bracha? So it is such a mahalach, but there is a mahalach to explain that even if you know you're going to forget, for sure, you're going to be out in a surgery, whatever, you're not going to be, you don't have to count Sfira, you can still stay with a bracha.
Start with it.
Yeah, I am going to for sure miss a day. There's a mahalach to say that what the brach is only that the missing is because you're missing a tmimus. I miss a day, so I can't. But the days until now were all tmimistic. When I said 8, it was taka 8. Later on I'm going to miss another day. I'm going to miss 35. Okay, but when I said 8, I was tmimistic in my 8. It wasn't missing anything in my svira. So this wanted to say that that's the ma'isa we do. We don't tell people. The meaning is we don't tell people that they can't start Sfira if they know they're forgetful. And now people have all these ways of alerts on their phones and messages and apps and they're gonna
Down with the million, it's easy.
but I mean, some people they have a minig. I think Zarabi says that they have a Saradim have a minig. I think that they say it before Baruch Shama or something. They say Sfira
In the morning. In the morning.
morning.
Today is
For something, for some houses for a lake.
Yeah.
No, there is a name, because they can't be in the daytime also.
Pasha
That's
to
what you mind.
there's an Indian of saying the word tzaddikim that they also wrote in letters. They would write what day of Sefiras Haomer it was. They always constantly remembered, said the day, said it over, connected to the Sfira. Hasvira tzarich levarich mu'uma. You have to say it standing. Shenemar bakama, which literally just means the stalks, the standing stalks of barley. Darshachachama tika bakama ela bakoima. That tachal lisper mehal charmesh bakoima tachal lisper bakoima tachal lisper. While you're standing, it should count. Call makim in manam yishaviyatz. However, it's not a inyamin haTorah. If someone said it sitting, Drasha zu ein al smacht about. This is just in mit the Rabbanon. She having a smacht on the pasuk.
Right,
What's
put
the
it
sign?
on the minion.
And Rosh's dream is coming.
So that's 6.
Not 7.
I doubt it, you're right.
Oh.
Say it too.
That's a problem.
We'll go to